Is anyone else in a real good mood after watching that latest To Your Eternity episode? They got me because I was fully convinced Bond was dead and we were going in a different direction, because it's not just like I was going off of the episode. I watched the preview, and in the preview for what episode 8 was going to be showing us, I literally saw a headless Bond. So it wasn't like I was just like, oh, we didn't actually see the killing blow, maybe that bird in the sky actually is Fushi. I was like, they showed a headless Bond. I'm convinced it's a headless Bond, but what a direction to take it. And for being, in my opinion, the most crucial point in the story of Fushi learning that he can, the spirits that chose to stay behind and not pass on could be revived. Instead of going with that being the most crucial moment, I would argue what actually turned out to be the most crucial moment is Fushi not knowing, but still almost having a second chance where he actually wants to continue life. And he's no longer depressed. While he still wants to bring those people back if he was given an option, Bond realizes that this wouldn't be the opportunity to do so because he needs those forms, he's currently happy enough to carry on, and one day he will learn that, and one day he will bring those people back, and that's what is exciting. Now, I do have a full live reaction available on the Patreon if you're interested, but this episode threw me for a loop. Not only did they confirm the Knocker's motivation, I mean, if there was one thing that was not on the bingo card this week is the horrible Knocker arm learning to speak and the fact that it was writing in the ground. I mean, the concept of doesn't excuse it, it doesn't make it a noble goal, but the fact that they actually think they're helping humans by releasing their fae. So, in their opinion, these bodies that hurt, that age, that have pain, by releasing them, they are saving their souls so they can have eternal paradise. And it's such an interesting concept because I was just under the impression, and I imagine if you took a poll, a majority of To Your Eternity watchers are probably in a similar thought process, that they were just creatures that wanted to kill, that they were almost like a zombie in a way, right? They just knew nothing other than to attack and feed, and the fact that they're going the direction of they literally think they're helping humans, I mean, what a way to go about it, in my opinion. And the fact that you have, if you really look at the Man in Black and Fushi's relationship over the course of these episodes, it's been rocky, to put it nicely. But the fact that Fushi can now look at him and have conversations without this hostile dagger eyes, but saying, you know what, I recognize my death isn't going to solve anything, I actually want to carry on living. And the fact that we were able to reverse what should have been a perfect opportunity. Hell, he was about to leave the gates before his arm kind of started hurting and we realized what Kaku was basically doing or having done to him. The fact of the matter was, like, Bond was about to reveal, because prior to Fushi leaving in the prior episode, when he was still in the cage, he literally says, like, he forgot. So he forgot to tell Fushi that he can see the dead and that the spirits are still with him. So he was about to do the same thing, but the fact that he actually asked, like, would you be happy if your friends that you care for could come back? And we do get the answer. It's not like they blue balls us, not like they baited us around to not give us. And no, we know Fushi wants his friends back. That is the confirmation that we need to know that when the world's at peace, more than likely, his friends are coming back. That seems like the likely bet. And whether Bond ends up telling Fushi while he's still alive, or it happens when, obviously, Fushi gains Bond's form, he will know. And I think it could have been very easy to write this in a way that would have had me annoyed, like, there's too many opportunities, you keep doing this, and, something pops up. Like, initially, when the arm started hurting, I kind of rolled my eyes like, you kidding me? Like, we're about to get that confirmation? But they saved it. They made me say, once again, this author knows what they're doing, and turns something that could have been more predictable, more cliche, or just something that I felt like needed to happen. They subverted my expectations tenfold and just continue to prove me after now, 28 episodes of the show total? It's just, there's nothing quite like it. And I'm very interested to see where Fushi's gonna go next week. Now, I did watch about half of the preview for next episode just because I wanted to see more. I was like, man, where are we going? Not going to go into specifics in case people want to go in blind, but that does look exciting and worrisome. That's all I'm going to say. And I think just with where we're going, where I thought we were kind of winding down this arc, we would transition into something different. It just gets better and better and better. And the way they actually saved Bond was clever, because at this point, my boy can literally use lava. So, I mean, anything's more or less on the table. And the fact that they used Tanari's book to figure out, like, a sleeping gas, Fushi takes a big mouthful, tastes like shit apparently, no surprise, but then as his bird can drop the gas to knock everyone out. And the fact that he actually used the lava so when the blade came down, it wouldn't obviously cut off Fushi's human head or anything. I thought that was just really clever, and the fact that, I mean, this is one of the craziest character transformations. Bond didn't start out as a bad person. Bond started out as a selfish person, but he was far from a bad person at the start. His people have loved him this entire time, and I think his death shows that. But when you look at his entire drive, his entire motivation for finding Fushi, it's all about being king. And when he's told that Bond is dead, that he can never go back to being Bond, he literally says, I've never been more happy to not be king. Like, that character growth, that glow up. I mean, usually in characters, like when they're supposed to appear dead, they end up growing their hair out, they get a big beard. He did the opposite. He looks about, honestly, 20 years younger. Like, you could tell that he would be a part of the family. If it really was like a family portrait, people could pick it out. But the fact that he actually looks so different by shaving the beard, I mean, I loved Bond's character design, but I mean, he really did a de-age there, so people really shouldn't notice it's him unless they really, really pay attention, or he has some of his outlandish kind of outrage moments. And I guess the only other thing I really want to touch upon is Toto, because Toto's stuff was really nice because we see her, she completely lost that weight. Probably a mixture of being in the cage / obviously also not eating as much. And just to see that weird family dynamic, it's so great because in normal circumstances, a person like Bond wouldn't be able to marry or be in a relationship with someone who's just a servant. But with Bond being dead and him just being a friend of Bond, it's a really wholesome family dynamic that the boy we saved last week, we get to actually see the mother's spirit very happy in this episode, which was a nice touch. The fact that you have this like adoptive family where you have the mother and father, Bond and Toto, and just, it's so great. It really brought a grin to your face and made the whole situation come full circle. And the bickering, the anger, the throwing pie in your face because you just want to get fat again, it's just, that's why I love this show. Like, To Your Eternity is one of the biggest roller coasters, and the fact that we can go in such a way where rather than Fushi go in the direction I thought, he would die, he would learn that, oh shit, I can see the spirits, I know they're here, I can revive. Hell, even the knockers were trying to send that message, and Bond's like, nope, 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 we're gonna erase that message. The fact that Fushi, he was so happy that he wasn't sure, he doubted his own intelligence, right? That, did I do good? This is all I could think of. I'm not the smartest, but this is the only way I could think to save you. And the fact that he was so smiley, he was so happy, that for once, someone that he cared for didn't end up dead, he didn't end up gaining another form, but instead he saved someone. He did something outside the box, and in doing so, he's able to tackle the world head on. And that brings a grin not only to Fushi's face, but the viewer's face, unless you have a heart full of ice, because that shit melts you through and through. But I'll pass the torch over to everyone. What did you think of this week's To Your Eternity episode? Definitely caught me by surprise. I'm sure I'm not alone, but do let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Now, like I mentioned, there's a full live reaction available on the Patreon, and while you're there, you can also get video shoutouts like a few are about to get here. So we got Crunchy, Fang 2, and the Monarch. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.